He didn't want somebody else getting his credit.
In 2006, Detective Bruce officially charged Jesperson with the murder of the unidentified victim. He pleaded guilty in 2007. Bruce wanted to better understand the man who committed this horrible murder.
I would not want to be a woman who angered him. That seemed to be his trigger. He said he picked up a lot of women. Everything was normal. He was, I guess, fond of picking up prostitutes at truck stops and did it quite frequently. Described several times having perfectly normal relationships with other people, long-term relationships. If you're able to make it past the first 15 minutes with the guy, you're probably safe, or not. One of his victims was a longtime friend of his who he, as he described, she says, you know what, my life is pretty much over, I just want to die, and he laughs about it. And he goes, really? And she says, yeah, you know, I wish I was just dead. Well, I can make that happen. Oh, really? Okay. And he kills her. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. He told a couple of stories that just really probably couldn't have happened the way he described them.
Detective Bruce also needed Jesperson's help to identify the victim. During their interview, he had Jesperson examine police sketches.
When I took this sketch, he goes, yeah, other than the hair, yeah, that's her. And those are almost his exact words. This is the one I think probably most accurately describes her at the time of the murder. Every time I look at the eyes on that photograph, I see pain. If you look at the gaunt cheeks, the pallor of a long-term alcoholic or drug user, that's a homeless person. That's somebody who's been out in the rain.
The sketches offered Bruce's only hope of wrapping up the case.
The plan is to take these, create a poster, and then what I will do is I'll go on a road trip, and I'm going to post it in every county jail from basically the Oregon border down to Sacramento, maybe a little bit beyond, every truck stop, every low-income housing complex or trailer area that I can find. Somebody out there knows her, and I'm hoping that that's where my lead is going to come from, somebody who knew her, and if nothing else, just give me the next step in this journey of identifying her. All I know is I wouldn't want to be dumped here. She's nothing more than a piece of trash to him at that point. She's lost her value to him in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully we'll be able to identify her and bring some sense of closure to her family if she has any. And me as well.
It may be possible to attain some closure after a brutal murder. But is it possible to unravel the twisted psyche of the happy-face killer?
Taking of a human life was nothing. I had done it so many times, it was nothing.
The most fearsome inventions of their time.
Let's shoot this bed.
They turned battles, won wars, and shaped our world.
Look at that!
Now the most deadly weapons in history are put to the test.
That is officially a hole. You think you could get that in there?
Modern technology takes on ancient know-how.
It's gone really deep in there and it's smouldering.
Weapon Masters. Sunday evenings at 7:30 on Discovery World.
In extended families, or the most intimate relationships, hyped with aggression, or perfectly chilled, spoiling for a fight, or fighting to survive, with epic stories of struggle and endurance, loyalty and love. Wildlife at 8 on Animal Planet. The greatest wildlife documentaries ever made. Weeknights at 8.
Keith Jesperson, the happy-face killer, was convicted of 4 murders. But this attention seeker claims as many as 166 victims. What motivated Jesperson to kill, and why does he continue to take credit for murders he didn't commit? To understand the mind of Keith Jesperson, Dr. Stone must examine his life and his crimes. One known murder that reveals much about Jesperson's mind occurred in January 1990 in Portland, Oregon. Jesperson met Tonya Bennett in a local bar and convinced her to go home with him. He raped and strangled her, then calmly disposed of the evidence. The police didn't even question Jesperson. Initially, he felt proud that he had got away with murder. 2 months later, pride turned to envy when the names of Laverne Pavlinak and John Sosnowski were splashed across the headlines. The pair were eventually convicted of Tonya Bennett's murder. Unwilling to remain anonymous, Jesperson scrawled detailed confessions on bathroom walls in Oregon and Montana. But they went unnoticed. Over the next 5 years, Jesperson roamed motorways in the Pacific Northwest. He is believed to have killed at least 5 more women and demanded acknowledgement for his crimes through letters to police and the media. What is certain, the murderous persona he created, the happy face killer, found a place in American criminal history.
Jesperson's letters to the media are calling cards motivated by ego and reflect extreme narcissism. Public recognitions of his acts is, ironically, more important than remaining free. This need for attention probably developed early in his life.
Born in rural British Columbia in 1955, Keith Jesperson and his family soon moved house to Washington State. As a child, he was teased and bullied by other children. He claims to have been neglected and abused by his father. Hungry for approval, he began killing stray animals that his father considered a nuisance. Jesperson's first victim was a cat, which he strangled with his bare hands.
Animal torture becomes a desperate attempt to prove his dominance. Through taking a life, Jesperson would have learned a sense of power and control that would later escalate to murder. And murder, he learned, was a way to win recognition.
By the time he was in his mid-30s, Jesperson was no longer satisfied with killing animals. Working as a lorry driver, he began preying upon women. Not satisfied to simply strangle his victims, he claims to have played a game, choking them to the brink of death, then reviving them to intensify their fear, repeating the process again and again. He killed them when he tired of the game.
Taking of a human life was nothing. I had done it so many times, it was nothing. It's like walking your dog. Once you do it around the block, you could walk your dog blindfolded.
At age 39, Jesperson created a new game of dominance and control. He sent a letter to an Oregon courthouse claiming he had killed Tonya Bennett 4 years earlier. He revealed details only the killer would have known. When his letter went unnoticed, he wrote to a newspaper demanding to be heard. The letter was signed with a happy face. March the 10th, 1995. For the first time, Jesperson took the life of someone he knew. Police questioned him, and although he was considered a prime suspect, he was released. But Jesperson's obsessive need for attention overwhelmed his desire to remain free. In a letter to his brother, he confessed. Within days, he was arrested. Once in custody, Jesperson revealed himself to be the happy face killer. He pleaded guilty to the murders of 4 women, including Tonya Bennett.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Laverne Pavlinak and John Sosnowski were released.
It was fun. It was humorous at times to see the craziness, not of what I've caused, but of the justice system.
Jesperson was sentenced to life in prison.
It may never be possible to know how many victims Keith Jesperson truly killed. In placing him in my scale, I must consider the damage he does by simply claiming crimes. Keith Jesperson is a cold-blooded psychopathic schemer driven by a powerful need for attention. And unfortunately, in a way, by profiling him here, we are playing into his perverse craving for acknowledgement. For his crimes and numerous claims of others, I place him at a level 18 on my scale, the level reserved for psychopaths preoccupied with murder and who also commit torture to a relatively brief degree.
Attention-seeking killers create terror in the public through their crimes and their games with the news media. Dr. Stone investigates the callous treatment of their victims and their manipulation of the public's emotions, striving to understand and quantify the most evil of killers.